What if you could help others to find the power to heal themselves? Physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
When I started teaching my classes, it was in 2002, and I was just doing the past life regressions and contacting the subconscious part. But then as the time went on and we found how powerful this was and what we could do with it, a lot of the students began saying, you know, advanced past life regression doesn't really tell what it's all about. This is so much more than that. We think you should change the name. So it was a few years ago we decided to change the name to Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this is the healing technique that we've now been teaching it, well, since 2002, that's 12 years.
What if you could time travel with them? Visit mythical places or angelic realms, other worlds, other galaxies. Help others to speak to their higher selves. You can. Dolores has taught thousands of people from across the world how to use QHHT, and now you can learn her method by going directly to dolorescannon.com. And don't forget to mention the discount code MORETALKS.
Established over 100 years ago, Watkins Books is one of the world's oldest and leading independent bookshops specializing in esoterica. We have the widest selection of esoteric books in the UK, and our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to assist you in a unique ambience of our shop. So come and visit us in the heart of London as we're open every day.
The comments and views expressed on The More Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The More Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Broadcasting from the UK and across the world online. You're now watching the UK's only alternative late night talk show, and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. For the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. On today's show, I'm joined with Francis Key and Antoinette Johnson. Now, on October 9th, 2010, at the age of 86, Gloria Crystal Teddy Key passed away at her Florida home, her family by her side. 19 days later, her beautiful voice began to communicate with her eldest daughter, Frances, about the scope and wonder of her new perspective from the afterlife. This was channeled through Frances as the Team Books. She joins me today alongside facilitator of the Team Books, Antoinette Johnson. So Frances and Antoinette Johnson, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, okay, so things have changed quite a bit since we last spoke, Francis, I'm guessing. Obviously, if people want to see the previous interview, we'll link it under this video right now. All you need to do is go down to the bottom. We, on the last interview, spoke about book 1. This interview is all about book 2. So tell me about the changes that have taken place since we last spoke.
You're in reference to book 2? In reference to all the books?
Well, changes in the sense of what's going on in your life as well, because obviously we've got Antoinette there, and that wasn't, that this is all different now.
Yes. Well, as you know, these books came through in a very short amount of time of communication after my mother died. And since that time, I've been releasing each book. Book 4 is yet to be released. However, in that time, there's been several study groups have formed around the books, and the most recent one has been organized and facilitated by Antoinette Johnson. Antoinette began reading the books think, about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it greatly enriched her life. So I was thrilled when she came to me and said she wanted to do this. And of course, I've become part of that study group as well. I went to Australia last year and spoke in Sydney at the Theosophical Society about the books, which was a thrill since that is where I was originally from. And the material continues to evolve within. And I continue to recognize that each book is really restating the same concepts, but at a deeper and deeper and deeper level, until you get to the fourth, which is called Beyond the Team, because really the depth of it takes you beyond just what you began with, which is the primary concept. We are not alone. We are not even functioning as one person. Nobody is. For you are a member of a team, a spiritual team, as close to you as breathing.
Right. Okay. So I think I'm understanding this. So Antoinette. So basically, okay. So you've been reading the books, and then what journey did that take you on to get where you are now to be sat here with this interview?
Well, when I first found the books, it was truly a revelation. And first of all, I'll give you a little tidbit of how the books actually got into my hands. A friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, had gotten a hold of the book, and one of them was sitting on her dresser one day, and I just picked it up, and I was like, "Oh, what's this? You know, what's the team?" Something about it just lit me up inside. And so she said, "Oh yeah, we have a friend, Frankie. Do you know Frankie? She channeled these books from her mother." And immediately I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! You mean there's another human being, you know, who's able to receive information, you know, from spirit?" So anyway, long story short, we ended up getting connected, and I've just been lit up ever since. And I would say it's probably been about 4 or 5 years now that I've been actively studying the material. And what I'm finding is Team Books is actually a really great compiled collection of many other spiritual concepts that are flowing through many different religions and books and groups, and pretty much everything out there. It truly is a collective amount of information about not only our connection to ourselves, but our connection to all that is, connection to the one. And so as I have begun studying this material over the past 4 years, my life has been enriched. I've discovered more spiritual gifts. I've received greater relationships. I am both a teacher and a student at the same time. And my life has just become that much more amazing thanks
Right.
to my knowledge of the team and my relationship to the team.
Right. So you've relocated to Florida now, or you were already in Florida?
Well, I was already in Florida. I had actually just gotten out of the Army and stationed up in Georgia at the time. And I came down here, and I want to say maybe about 3 or 4 years later, that's when I discovered the team books. And but I did relocate out to the beach. I'm finding the ocean energy is really, really healing and uplifting. So yeah, I've definitely gotten closer to where I need to be.
Okay, so now you're helping Frances, you're helping her to teach the teachings from the 3 books.
Yes, actively.
Okay.
Yes, because it's about not just reading the books, but putting the principles that they're teaching into practice.
Okay, so for both of you then, how's that working right now? So you'll go to you'll put on a class, will you? Or I mean, how's it happening? Are people coming to you? Are you going out there to promote the work?
Well, we began by meeting at a public location, then we moved to a private location. The group at times is small, at times is larger. Sometimes we've been joined by somebody on Skype. It's simply reviewing the material and discussing ways that we can apply it to our life. It's really been a very intense growth period, I think, for everybody that's been involved in the group. Right. We've been meeting for
Interesting.
6 or 8 months.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, about 6 months or so. And every meeting is more and more enthused. There's more information coming through, even beyond the team.
Okay. So
the energy just flows through in our meetings, and it's just getting better and better and better.
Let's just go back to what
receiving.
Just go back to what
Yes?
you just said there. Just go back to what you just said. You said there's more and more information coming through. So who's the one that's receiving the information? Is it still yourself, Frances?
Everybody.
All of us.
It's everybody. Because we really are one. And this is the whole point of these books. You know, they're designed to move you away from individuality to collectivity. And we have found that to be true in our group. Oh. Everyone is a mouthpiece.
Okay, but who's coming through? Who's connecting with who? Is it still Crystal, Teddy, your mother coming through, or is it the group coming through?
She is definitely there. You know, she was the original door opener, but that door came open, and then more teammates that she was introducing came in to me. That's why book 2 has a very different tone from book 1. There are chapters in it that are very scientific, very analytical, different tone from book 1 because more was allowed in. And so in this group, we are aware that other members of the team from Teddy are present too.
So when I interviewed you all those years ago, obviously this was a one-on-one interview. This was not there. If I had known this now, I mentioned this to you back then, this wouldn't have been in our understanding. But it's changed. Do you know where I'm coming from?
Well, it's evolving. Everything evolves. Nothing stays the same. When I first wrote these books, I was aware, and I believe in the first interview mentioned, that book 1 was 100% my mother's communication. But then as book 2 began, I became aware of other teammates who had other information to impart.
Right.
So it's the same concept within this group. When we began, it was more me making presentations and Antoinette sort of bouncing off of me back and forth, and then it evolved where everyone in the group has had so many amazing experiences of their own to share, and so much information comes through that correlates. We always find a correlation. I mean, there's times we just open up the book and begin to read something, and whoever's reading about it has had that experience. So it's pretty organic. It's a very organic process.
This is very different. This is very, very different to when we last spoke. I mean, it's pretty amazing that the shift that's taken place here with the material. Okay, so but then it is your mother who was the information giver in book 2 and book 3 mainly, or is it not? I've got that totally wrong.
Well, my mother's energy is in all 4 books. Her message is unmistakable. But it's as if she brought with her a companion who added something to what she was saying.
Right.
I won't say there's 50 different entities who have spoken through these books. I would always say that she is the leader of that team.
Yes.
But she has brought in other energies to add to what she had to teach.
Energies above the level that she's currently at?
I've never thought about that. I wouldn't say that, no. But a team, when you think about any team, everybody has different talents. So everybody brings something different to the table. When Antoinette speaks about a chapter, I listen to her like a student because she has her own unique background of information that she can apply to that concept.
Okay.
And likewise with me.
Okay, so Antoinette, when you're bringing in, okay, you're bringing information through. You may be in a circle with other people that have resonated with this material, and you're bringing new information through. Who are you connecting with, do you think?
It's really the expanded version of all that we are. That's really the best way I can put it. You used the word above just a little while ago. This energy doesn't feel necessarily like it's above. It just feels that it is an expanded version of us. Like if we were to grow out to become, let's say, from a drop of water to move into the ocean type of thing. There's just more available that's able to come through when we're receptive to it. And I'll say, for me specifically, we've had some great moments where Teddy herself, the energy of Teddy came through me physically. And I mean, I felt her. We all felt her in the room. And it was just absolutely amazing. And then beyond that, others would come in. Others that are also great teachers connected to Teddy. And but we haven't gotten to the point yet in our communication where the names are coming through yet, but the vibrational essence of who these beings are is very present. It's palpable.
Yeah,
It's unmistakable.
yeah, absolutely. And it seems to be that the channeling of nowadays, as there has been a shift since people like Jane Roberts and other channelers, and as there continues to be, that there is no names. There is no names.
Because we're all one. We're truly all one collective. We are part of one body. That's something that it does say a few times in the material about being part of the body of Christ, for lack of better words. But it is our higher self that we're a part of.
Okay.
And that's something that's mentioned in I believe, the mystical body chapter.
Well,
actually in book 2.
You just touched on something there. Okay, you've used the word. I think you used the word because the line's not. I can hear you, but it's a bit of a struggle sometimes. I think you used the word the higher self.
Yes.
Okay, so the higher self. Seth called it the oversoul. With the higher self, then, if you're tapping into that, which it sounds like you both are in a sense, then you're tapping into that greatest part of yourself that's maybe left behind before we come here. If you want to call it behind, it's just my way of understanding it. I'm sure it's not that way at all. But if you are connecting with that part of you, then obviously it's all-knowing and it's magnificent and it's able to bring through this information. Is it that's bringing through this information?
Yes, it's that and more, because our growth is never ending. It's eternal. So it's even beyond just a higher version of the self. It is the energy that moves us, as well as the energy that is outside of us. It's all in combination. We're not separated from it, even in this particular dimensional space. It's still all us.
You know, in chapter 15 on book 2, it's the chapter's called Distance, and I'm sort of jumping in there right now, and it talks about they know there are infinite levels beyond them, but they also know that they are exactly where they are best belonging to. Where they best belong, that's what it says, but I'm using the word belonging to. As in, when we cross over, we are attracted to the level that we belong to, in a sense. But it uses the word infinite levels beyond them. And I wonder if that is true, that there is infinite levels to go to, and potentially that the information that you're bringing through is brought through the higher self, but obviously maybe there's something else that you're connecting with that's beyond the level that you may cross over to when you cross over. Maybe it's beyond the level that Crystal Teddy's at. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Crystal, mother, is bringing through information even on higher levels. Jane Roberts talked about this with Seth, where Seth would connect to Seth too. It was never Seth's information, really. It was Seth too.
Yes. Well, because it's done through teams. This is what I've grown to understand, that everything that we gain, learn, attain is vicariously absorbed and understood by our spiritual team. And so they have access to everything that we are, and we have access to everything that they are. And each team is connected to a team above, and a team above, and a team above. They call these leads. So the highest connection of the team reaches out to the team beyond. So truly, there's a way for pure essential truth to flow through. Now we filter it through our various perceptions of our mind and so forth, but to the best of our ability and to the degree that we have made ourselves a vessel, a pure vessel for the dissemination of truth, may it flow. So there's really no question about, is it available? What is available? It's all available.
It's all available, yeah.
I mean, the ecstasy that a person can enter into when going through these kind of experiences is due to the fact that we're connecting with these enormous vibrational spheres that are created by the collective energy of all beings.
Yeah.
So there's no limit. There's no limit.
Yeah. Okay. You know, we're 90 minutes into this interview right now, and I feel that we could be here for over 2 hours or more with the amount of information. It really is.
Well, I think you'll have to edit it down, I suppose, because we haven't even read anything from the books.
I know, right? I know. No, there's no editing down. It's going to stay intact, but we're really not going to make it in time here with everything. I'll tell you what I found out about book 2 as well. It was a lot more involved. It was great information, really good information, but it was much more than I expected it to be as well. I remember book 1, but book 2, you know, it's that next level. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each book goes into that, goes a little deeper and deeper of the same concepts. Do we have time to read a few excerpts? Because I feel like the words of the book is where the energy lies, you know?
We do, yes. Okay, if you want to do that, yeah. I mean, we did touch on vibrational spheres there. I think we did touch on that on the previous interview, but I'd made notes on what I thought they were. But yeah, sure. If you want to, if you something that you want to read, of course.
Okay.
But before we do, let me just sort of summarize what we've been talking about here as well. So basically, if people feel drawn to this work, which people do and people will do, then am I right that they're able? Look, I believe anyone can channel. I do believe anyone can. It's like some people are good painters, some people are not so good painters. The gift is always there if you want to work on it. I also believe that all answers lie within, so that by using that method to channel or to receive, because some people don't like the word channeling, but to receive, that, you know, you can look for the answers within and find them yourself. And I think your work is great for that in the sense that, you know, the way it's developing now is that you can develop your own teams and find your team as well, and with that you can build upon that and receive, like as what you're both doing and other people you do this with as well. Am I onto something there, or am I?
Yes, you definitely are. I'll give you a little tidbit here from book 2. This is there's a chapter called "Who's in Charge" here, and it speaks to what you're actually talking about right now. It says the tools which the earth supplies to the soul are form, feelings, and intellect, which operate through the body, emotions, and mind. Okay, now just stopping there, and to sit with that understanding. All right, we, the soul, has been given 3 tools. We've been given our body, we've been given our intellect through the mind, the ability to choose, and we've been given our emotions. Those are 3 very specific tools that we, who we truly are, as a soul, as a member of this collective consciousness, are able to use.
Yeah.
And book 2 is all, I call book 2 the workbook.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's where you have to get down to the brass bolts of understanding who and what we truly are. We are not just humans. We are a being. We are a soul. And these vehicles that we use are part of what not only we're using, but what the team is using at any given time to communicate through us. So when you're speaking of channeling,
Yeah.
you're speaking of information that is coming through to all of us at all times. We are all channeling. We at all times. But you are correct. It's just a matter of how available we are and how allowing we are for that information to come through.
And I suppose as well, it's, you know, you have to be quite clear and not try to filter it as well, which is easier said than done. Because no matter what you receive, it's still going to come through your personality in a sense, isn't it?
Yes, but that's all part of the hodgepodge, I believe, of being here.
But then
our personalities color.
But then
the information.
You look at the personality that channeled the Quran. There was a lot of negativity, in my opinion, and you don't need to say anything if you don't want to, but in my opinion, there was. I'm reading the Quran and studying it right now, and I can't believe what a harsh bit of channeling it is in some places. You know, it's action, problem, reaction, solution in a sense. You know, and look how many millions follow that. Yet, if only people would follow something empowering like this, it's a really diverse...
Well, Kevin, let me jump in there. That is part of the reason why we are all here, because we have such contrast available to us. There's multitude methods available for everyone. If they want to choose going the route of Quran to expand their soul, or any biblical text, or the Torah, or even the team books. There's something for everyone here. That's what this place is for. It's a place of exploration.
Sure.
And the team doesn't necessarily view it from the altogether good or altogether evil or negative perspective. It's all used and can be transmuted.
No, that's true, but you know, millions upon millions of souls have gone with religions which state unless you believe in this religion, you will go to hell. And you think, well, where is the soul? It's almost like the soul wants to be non-responsible for anything. I don't understand it yet. You know, that kind of belonging, to want to be attracted to that kind to that level.
What you just said was perfect, Kevin. What you just said was perfect. I don't understand it yet. I don't understand it yet.
I'll never understand
it. More will come through. There's a bit here that I'd like to read.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me find it. Have you found the section that you wanted to?
Yes, well, I'll go ahead with this section here. It's from the chapter called From Whence You've Come. I ask you to suspend the idea that you have come to the earth only to grow. Rather, I ask you to consider you have come to the earth to assist with the evolution of the consciousness of the planet. And in the process of doing so, you grow. In other words, you are here to primarily assist, and the byproduct of that assistance is personal growth. Now, this is speaking to a certain vibration that is held within this book that will attract readers of similar consciousness and vibration. And this is our work. Those who are attracted to a different vibration of which you spoke and others, that is their right and their prerogative. The second point on this is it says, suspend the idea you are thrown into a cycle of suffering until you earn the right to be free of it. Replace that concept with this one. You chose to come here. There were many other dimensions to choose from, but this was your choice, and therefore it became your assignment. In the sense that this is our assignment, I want to say this. We are each a representative of our team. Sometimes we have teammates who are physically right here with us, but we have many, many more who are not here with us, who are in a different dimension. And as a representative, we are transmitters of their vibration, their collective vibration, to the degree that we open ourselves to it and become it. And I'm not emphasizing that everyone try to be a channeler or in the traditional sense of the word. That is not the path for each person and not necessary. It is simply knowing you are not alone, that you're here for a very brief time, that you're on assignment, and that by choosing the highest choice in any given moment, you can fulfill your mission, your portion, and you can lay the groundwork so that when you are gone, your teammates come in after you and they pick up where you left off. And anything that you've done to make the world a more loving, a more forgiving, a more enlightened place becomes your legacy. That really is the essential message of the team. Did you find something you wanted to share?
Yes, I did. There's a chapter in book 2 called The Choice of the Moment. And the choice of the moment is all about some of what you mentioned earlier about how, people would choose a different route. They'd choose, to go to study the Quran or to study any of these things that might appeal to them. The choice in the moment talks about elevating. Hold on just a second, let me find the reading here. Okay, I think this is good.
Well, the choice is individual, and the free will of the individual is paramount. This planet is a smorgasbord. We have every single thing available to us on this planet. We have Hitler next to Mother Teresa. We have all the vibrations available to us so that we can use our will, use our choice, and learn what it means to align with a particular vibration. So as painful as that may look to you, and I know what you refer to, those souls are learning from what they've aligned with, they are learning, just as we're learning from what we've aligned with. Did you find it? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a little tidbit here of this chapter. This is something that is steeped in what a lot of people are experiencing right now with the way the economy is changing. It says, let us look at one of the most commonly perceived circumstances that throw people into confusion. The circumstance of poverty versus wealth. I chose this particular topic, money, because it's a hard one to face. Most everyone will acknowledge that there are many wealthy people who live miserable lives, and many poor people who possess a special kind of joy. And yet, even as this observation is made, the average person goes into a state of depression or panic when their own predetermined financial requirements are not met. But I am here to tell you that the poor person and the rich person have the exact same opportunity in front of them to choose an attitude and thought pattern of integrity and authenticity right where they are. The trappings around them do not change this choice in any way. And so just sitting with that, okay? We all have available to us the exact same access, the exact same information, the exact same choice, which is to choose something higher, regardless of what the outer circumstance may look like. Or in your case, with regards to the Quran, regardless of what that teaching is saying, we still have a choice of how we're going to use that circumstance and information to better ourselves and to better those around us.
Yeah, I mean, sorry if I've offended anyone.
I remember in this chapter, it also points out it gives other contrasts. Illness versus health,
Yep.
attractiveness versus non-attract. Really, you are asked to say, does this wealth determine who I am? Does this poverty determine who I am? No. We are designed to whatever the condition is, and they're equal. In fact, it says the extreme opposites are often offering the very same thing, because whether you are extremely poor or rich or healthy or ill, you are asked to identify with the soul, with the light within in that circumstance, and go beyond it, whatever it is. And we're also told upon transition, we quickly leave behind the details of our conditions. We don't remember. Were we heavy? Were we thin? Were we all these things that people are so concerned about? What we are aware of is the energy and the choice and the vibration that we were involved in at that time, because the condition gave us an opportunity to choose beyond it. And that's what we're left with. We don't even, it's like a dream. When you can't remember the details, you only know how you felt.
Yes.
And you only know what you learned or interpreted from that dream. And all the details of it fade away.
Yes, absolutely, and I was just going to say there as well. Thank you both so very much for reading those out. I really appreciate that. I was just going to say as well. Look, my beef isn't just with the Quran; it's with the Bible as well. So it's just when anything when anything's coming not from love, and it's just so harsh. It does not resonate with me one bit. I don't. It doesn't fit into something loving then at all. It goes quite against that. I think the only way to make a change in this world is to be the change. Just what you two are doing right now, being the change, going against not the norm, but creating your own community in a sense. That's the only way that you can really not fight the system, because you're not here to fight the system, but to bring about the world that you would like to see.
You do the inner work, you work on your personal evolution, and you will emanate that and inspire others to do the same. Yeah. We are responsible for that. That is our work. To the degree that we do that, are we an agent for change?
Where would you like to see this going for both of you? Where do you? I mean, there's so much we could talk about right now, but I really want to get this answer. Where would you like to manifest what's happening right now with yourselves and the work?
Speak to that.
Well, ideally, it's to create a closer community and a better understanding of our connection to the other side, for lack of better terms, to know that we're not separate. We're not separate. We're all one. It says in the beginning of the team books that we're not even functioning as one person. And when you think about that, there's a lot of references in a book in these books about us functioning a bit like cells in the body, and how cells are flowing through, going through different organs, each having their own tasks, but they're all a part of one body. And so ideally, what I would hope to promote with this material and with my own life is the concept of oneness, of truly being a part of the team. Just like my hand isn't trying to separate itself from my body, it knows it's here to serve me. It's not trying to get away from me. All of this is here to serve us. And that's something that I would want to promote to everyone, that we are all one, that we're all a part of a collective.
Wouldn't it be great if receivers, channelers could just get together under one roof, and really promote their work, together? Are we not stronger together than separate?
Well, we are together. Vibrationally, we're together whether we're not together. You and I right now are together across the world. But we're together even when we're not speaking to each other because our vibrations are affecting one another. So I think that, yes, we'd like to all be under one roof, but if that isn't physically possible, the work is still happening.
Yeah, no, I don't mean it, physically under one roof. I know I said it like that, but I mean, how many times do we pick up the phone to Lee Carroll that channels crying, or someone else that channels something else, or someone else, or there's some as yourself. There's some fantastic channelers just like yourself out there. It's just, we're not working together, are we?
I feel like we are working together. Whether I put this book out and you put out another one, I mean, we're all doing the same work according to how we're called.
I guess
it affects.
Yeah.
I'll share this with you, Kevin. There's another chapter here. I believe it's called "The Wheat from the Chaff," and I think this speaks to what it is that you're talking about.
I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Just to develop more acceptance of what it is that our other teammates are doing and not doing. It says, never forget that at times, someone may choose to fall flat on their face in front of you for the express purpose of giving you a much needed opportunity for compassion.
Yeah.
Okay, and so to just kind of sit with that understanding for a moment, that each of us is doing what's needed in order to expand the whole of who we are. Even if it seems that we're doing it separately, it is still affecting the other. So even though there are people out there that are, hurting other people with purpose, there are also those who are ready and willing to give relief and to give support for that. And so there's an equilibrium, there's a balance that's being struck with all of this. Yeah,
absolutely. And I wasn't trying to call for like an X-Men kind of get together thing, but it was it would be nice though to see that even in a on some level. But I know what you're saying. As you say, in the teachings exactly agree with everything you've just said there and more. And I really feel that what you're doing is so authentic and organic in a sense that it's just, I can resonate with you that you're doing some great work. And I know that I'm sure that your journey is only just beginning, even though it must feel like it's been going for a while, to get even to the point for us to be together today. I feel that... Yep.
Go ahead, Kevin. One thing that we are personally sharing with you. There is a chapter in book 1, which I believe you and Frankie spoke about in the last interview, called "Elimination Through Illumination." And so I think it's important, that people like yourself are doing what you're doing. You're illuminating this material, this understanding, the ability to channel. And so the more you illuminate what it is that you want to promote, which is the togetherness, which is channelers unite, or whatever it may be, the more you illuminate that, the more it will be drawn unto you, unto all of us. Because it is happening, Kevin. It's just a matter of us being aware that it's happening. But if we continue looking at it not happening, then we'll get more of it not happening.
And Nothing to Forgive was one of the chapters. I think it's on page 61. I found that really interesting, actually, that you sort of sum it up as an ABC, that experience no wounding from the actions of others, thereby creating no obligation to forgive the other, and compassionately releasing others from any obligation to make amends to you. I think what it was saying is when you react with anger and hurt to those things that appear to be an injustice in your pathway, you cause a dynamic to be set up between you. And actually, I'm just reading off what's on the thing here.
And it requires further interaction between you
Yes.
in order for the issue to be resolved.
Yes.
So I'm glad you chose that. I'm really glad you chose that, Kevin, because if we could learn two things:
Yep.
to appreciate profoundly everything that comes in our life, and secondly, not to condemn or judge as when things or events occur, we would all collectively as human beings just soar. We would progress by leaps and bounds we can't even imagine. Because if we simply do not, if we forgive almost in advance, it tells us to pre-forgive. Begin your day with pre-forgiveness. I'm going to send out forgiveness ahead of myself so that nothing that can come or anything that anyone can do can possibly generate in me a judgment reaction. Because what we do is we simply bind ourselves to that energy, we call it to ourselves, we ask it to come back and teach us again because we haven't gotten over it yet. And we set up some dynamic with this other person who also is angry, so that we are making some sort of vibrational obligation to one another. And if we prevent it from the start, we can be free, and we can free them. Because when we free another, we're really freeing ourselves, because we are one. We are literally one. If I'm angry at my foot and I sit there and smash it with a brick, who am I harming? That foot is part of me. So I love this chapter. And anyone who reads book 2, I would recommend that one almost over all of them.
Mm. Has this become your sort of full-time job now, Frances? I mean, I cannot remember if it was kind of a full-time job before, but it seems to me now that it is.
Well, you know, I'm at a stage of life where I no longer teach in the schools like I used to. I spend a lot of time with my grandchildren, and I spend a lot of time pursuing connections with people who are like-minded. And yes, meditating, studying the material, interacting with people. And Antoinette, you know, certainly does the same. Her life is built around putting these principles in practice and making it her full-time, if you want to call that. I wouldn't call it job, but simply
well, it's my
existence.
Work. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's my work. It's definitely my purpose
Yeah.
to live this out, because we don't, it's not our words that teach, it's our example. It's the way we live.
That is
And
so true.
you know, when we're choosing to back to this chapter of nothing to forgive,
Yeah.
when we are holding others in darkness or in judgment, we aren't in light. We were not in light. So what I practice is, as much as possible, living in the light and being an example of that through the team. Because the team is doing that through me and through you and through Frances and through everyone.
Yeah. So you
For
find
everyone,
it, you
putting
find
into their calling.
absolutely, absolutely. So you find it very important for both of you right now to be around like-minded people. Do you find it testing to be around people who challenge you in the sense of what you believe in all the time, or are just not very open to? No?
Not at all.
Good.
It's actually, I feel intense appreciation for them as teachers, as reflections of me, to be able to say, wow, I remember when I believed as that. Wow, you know, I truly remember that, and I appreciate that, because that is a valid perspective as well. And I live and speak to them from a place of not needing or wanting to change them, but just to say, hey, here's another perspective if you'd like to try it, but you don't have to, and nor do I need you to. And so I live in intense appreciation and gratitude of those who do have a different belief system, because it's growing all of us just in conversation.
You know, it's funny, Frances. Thank you for that, by the way. It's funny. On your last interview, I remember, because the thoughts come back to me now, I remember having this thought in my head where I saw not people as such, but they were people, obviously, but, you know, a community based around your work where it had grown and it was more than you. And I see that taking shape now. I can see that taking shape.
Yes, I do kind of remember you discussing that, and we even had a phone call, a personal phone call to that effect. Um, this material was brought in very intensely quickly when Mother died because she was still very connected, and and I was very open, and it was enabled to come. And I knew from the start it was the team's work. It's been put out there. People around the world have read these books. I send them to different countries all the time, and I knew they would have a life of their own. And they have formed different groups and study groups and whatnot. And it really didn't matter who they came through. It just happened that we were connected in such a way that it was possible for it to come. And timing, I mean, the divine knows the right time for certain things to be shown and to appear upon the earth. I mean, all throughout history, remarkable things come in right at the right moment.
Yes, they do. They do. So your book 4 is finished?
Oh, yes, it's been finished.
Yeah.
It's a matter of working on the actual construction of the manuscript, which is a lot more time consuming than a person might imagine. Okay. Most of it's handwritten.
Yeah, no, of course. What's your plans then to, with yourselves? I mean, is it to get out there into spiritual fairs, metaphysical fairs, or, what's your sort of, not marketing plan for this, but how do you intend to get the work out, or is that going to be organic where it just comes to you, or you must have some plans?
I think organic is the right word. We're open to every positive, constructive way of sharing the information.
Right.
And as it unfolds, we respond.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely. And we have received a couple of visions here or there of the expanded version of the sharing of this material. So it's all flowing in at just the right time, and we'll get there when we get there. But right now we're here, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
we do envision workshops, gatherings of workshops of the material with a number of different teachers. Actually, a team of teachers, which would reflect it accurately.
It must be so amazing when you meet other members of your team as well.
Oh gosh, it's enthusing, it's thrilling, it's like ecstasy, it's like when you meet someone for the first time that actually gets it, it's like, wait a minute, you actually understood what I just said? It's like being in a foreign country and then meeting someone else that speaks your language. Yeah. It's overwhelming. You just want to hug them and hold them and begin even more conversation, and then maybe go find others. It's an amazing process, and the journey of it is what is most exciting, I'll say. The fact that we are discovering this not only in the physical 3D in this earth environment, but non-physically as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been interviewing a lot of channelers, Francis, since we spoke as well. A lot of different channelers, and it's been an amazing journey, really, speaking to a lot of them. And they're all kind of saying the same thing at the core. They really are, oneness, what would love do in the moment now, and that we all have the power to just go into that quiet space and listen and find the answers within.
Yes.
What we're looking for.
Well, I do want to say, since you asked what our plans are, that both Antoinette and I are available. If people want to contact us, we teach one-on-one. We both do readings one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And if people want to study the books and have meetings with us about the books, all of that's available.
I think that's so important. So your plans are to get the books onto the Amazon platforms, but right now, if they want to order the books, where would they go for that?
Well, they need to watch the website for the updates, because the books are being reprinted. and they can order through the website at this time. But the website is The Team Books, with the S, theteambooks.com. And they can read about a lot about how the books came to be and about the experience. They can actually see a video of my mother recorded when she was here with us speaking about peace. There's a lot of inspirational material on the books and on our lives.
You know, there's a lot of information to take in, even with book 2 as well. And I think the books aren't saying, oh, you know, look, you know, you have to go down this road, and we would say, you know, to embrace what's being taught here with all these new concepts of modalities, in a sense, or new understandings of this reality. It's saying that whatever resonates with you, go with it, firstly. And I think it's also...
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's also saying that the books, book 2 also said to me, pretty much whatever it is that the issue is in the moment that you have now, there is an answer in the book, in a sense, to bring you back into present moment, or to bring you back out of that headspace and into the true you, in a sense, if I'm making any sense right now. Help me out here, guys.
Yes.
Yes, book 2 is definitely about learning how to align with the team in our everyday mundane life. It speaks a lot about, again, even just using our physical body as an example of how the team communicates with us. It's about, once we align with the understanding that we are not alone, that we are part of a team, everything becomes available to us, because it's the whole of who we are. It's just about, again, doing the work. And the work is not as difficult as we believe it is. It's as simple as walking out of your door and deciding to smile. It's truly an inner work. It's a decision to choose to align with all that we are.
And you know, Kevin, in the books repeatedly say, we are not telling you to insulate yourself from the world. We're not telling you to do any strange or unusual things. It is we are asking you to acknowledge your team, to understand you are a representative of your team, to regularly remind yourself that this is a very transient experience. We're here, it's a means to an end. We're not here permanently. And to try to recognize the principles that are in play at all times, and to actively choose and reach for the highest, reach for the high road in any given moment, whatever that may be. Because when we will transition, and when we do transition, we take everything we've learned to our team, we share it, we share our life review with our team, and what we take with us is the love we have given, the love we have received. And most of the details fall away. So to seek that pure essence in your ordinary life, and be the light that you really and truly are. That's the real message of it.
Well, that's right. I mean, let's face it, we don't even take our underwear with us when we pass on, let alone our money. So, one thing we do take is the love, most definitely. And it's what you said earlier on as well. It's about leaving the world in a better place. Whether that's spiritually, the kind of person that you've been to others, whether that's, you know, something to do with agriculture, land, or whether it's just something completely different, you know, just maybe even yourself is very important, to have worked on yourself, to have left yourself in a better place, I hope. Yeah, with your loved ones.
Well, we're not, what's beautiful about it is that there's really no leaving. The work continues. It's just a matter of we're in a physical body, and then we choose to go into a non-physical body. The work is never ending.
That's right. Okay, well...
We're told that we really have one lifetime We just live it in many different bodies and many different dimensions. So it's one life, it's one work, or one play, if you want to call it that. Whether we're here, whether we're there, whether we're on the lookout tower, whether we're boots on the ground, we're always a part of that process.
Yeah, and it must have been such an important thing for us to come here. It must have been so special for us to come here. But as well is that we don't stay forever, like you say. So we're not that addicted to this place, are we, in a sense, as well?
Yes, a lot was done to pave the way before we came. And what we're doing is paving the way for those who come behind us.
Yeah.
So it's really a beautiful and exciting process.
Yeah, that's right. And for anyone that's
We
lost...
can remember that.
Absolutely. And for anyone that's lost in anyone as well recently, you know, this book and the other books just really help you to see it in a different light, that nothing was lost, just the body was gone, that was all. The soul continued, the essence, the consciousness continued, definitely.
Truly.
Okay, well, I hope I've done this interview justice. It's one of those interviews where, you know, you think it's going to go one way and it's going completely a different way, which is great. Don't worry, that's all good. There is so much to read in these teachings, and I would highly recommend getting a copy of Book 2, and if you've not got Book 2, obviously Book 1 to start with that, most definitely. Your book's been going up on the screen, and so has the website throughout this interview as well. And I would just like to say, Antoinette and Francis, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope I got that name right.
Antoinette with the toi.
I knew it. I knew I'd get it right. I know it's wrong, isn't it? I know, that's great, isn't it? Yeah.
It's all right.
It's all good.
Well, look, guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, we've come to an end on tonight's show. Don't forget that you can listen and watch all our past interviews on the More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new daily shows. You may also find out more on all past and upcoming guests on the show via themoreshow.co.uk, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.